Hello and welcome to Cereal Box Reviews. And today we're talking about Roman Polanski's 1966 film Cul-De-Sac.
Yeah,
I think that's how you say it.
Cul-De-Sac. Yeah.
Um, uh, this is your recommendation, so just introduce it or whatever.
Well, this is Polanski's third feature film. His second made in the UK, outside of his native Poland. It was co-written with his on and off co-writer Gerald Blanc or whatever the fuck. And it's my personal favorite Polanski film, and I guess that's all the intro you really need.
Want to give a plot synopsis?
Oh, well, basically the film is about a couple, an older man, a younger, sexy French broad. And they're in this big castle, real isolated. She's carrying on a little fling, a little affair behind his back. He seems none the wiser, seems not to care too much. And it's pretty clear early on that she doesn't have much respect for him, and he doesn't know what the fuck's going on. A common theme in relationships in Polanski's films. All of this goes on pretty much regularly, it seems, until it is discovered by the couple that there's an intruder in the house, a very American-style gangster type, and the rest of the film is them unable to leave due to the gangster's insistence that they stick around until he gets help for him and his dying partner in crime. And
And you said that Donald Pleasence is younger than Robert, is it Strandler?
Yes, Strander, yeah.
But Donald Pleasence, I didn't even realize, was almost 50 when this movie came out.
Oh yeah, Donald Pleasence old shit. This is Halloween,
Lionel Sanders is his name, right?
Yeah.
I'm not good with names. This is the common thing. What's her name? I wrote it down. What the fuck?
Claude Dorliac or some shit?
She was like my age in this movie, and I don't know. I just thought the age gaps were interesting, but because Donald Pleasence is like, I mean, he was like 45 or whatever in this movie, and like he doesn't. I mean, 45 is not even old at all, but I think I don't know. Like, I almost think he's maybe supposed to be older than her, but I think he's supposed to be younger than he is. I don't know. But anyways, he pulls it off, I guess. And
I love his performance.
What was I gonna say? So, I don't know where to begin. This movie, I might have to rewatch again. I don't know. Because I didn't know anything about it going in, which is probably a good thing. But I thought it was decent. I don't know. It's not like a typical gangster like kind of story. There's been stories like or movies and stuff like with a kind of similar plot, I guess, but this one is different because there's a lot of either with the dialogue or with there's a lot of it's more it's a much more eccentric movie. There's more there's a little more. I don't want to say there's a little more to it, but it's not your typical. It is your typical almost gangster story, but it's not your typical.
It's not typical
gangster
anything.
Movie. But,
it's not a typical anything. I said, if you misheard, which Polanski's pretty adept, whatever, at sorting genre and playing with genre and expectation from it. This movie in particular, more so even than a Knife in the Water, which is pretty hard to like give a clear label to at times, doesn't really stick with any one genre at all. It's got notes of horror, especially with that big sort of gothic castle they're in the whole time. It's very funny and is very free about its humor. Sometimes edging in on like surrealism, basically. It's got crime to it, but it's not in like a crime-based world, really. It's just a criminal in a regular world, somewhat regular. And it's certainly not a traditional like kitchen sink drama of like a couple struggling. So yeah, it's kind of floating around even in the rest of Polanski's filmography, which is quite.
What I was getting at was it's pretty much like similar to Chinatown. The plot itself is like not. It's like a typical like Chinatown's like the story itself is like a noir like story trope about the femme fatale, the wife of this guy or whatever, and it involves her somehow and blah blah blah. The detectives like it's pretty typical, but the movie itself is obviously not your typical noir story. And then this is kind of similar. There's been a lot of gangster story movies and stuff where like they help someone hold someone hostage, and then they sort of develop a relationship throughout the movie or whatever. And I don't know if it's necessarily a gangster story, but it's definitely like that's a story that's been done in crime films and stuff so many times. But it's still not your in execution. It's still not your typical crime film, I guess.
Right.
Yeah. So I think the reason why I think I said it was I thought it was decent was this movie to me I was kind of surprised it was his third film. I've still never seen his first two movies, but it felt like a first film to me. It like had a cool idea or like things about it, but I don't know. I felt like it was kind of like I don't know. Maybe I expected more. I'm not sure. I don't even think I didn't know what to expect going in, so I don't know. But it kind of, I don't know. It just felt like I don't know, like I said like somebody's first movie where they have like cool ideas and stuff, but they still haven't. Like I feel like this isn't like Polanski. Yeah, like Polanski didn't fully came to his own yet, and I think probably. Like Rosemary's Baby is probably like the start of the Polanski that either we know or like the really I don't know, like when that's like when Polanski became Polanski, I guess. Like
well I'd say that he definitely threw a lot basically through all of the shit he wanted to in it. This could have been his first movie or whatever, but Knife in the Water didn't just plot-wise wouldn't allow, like, any sort of, like, like, it wouldn't make sense to have a gangster in it. I know you haven't seen it, but it's a tight, somewhat austere film. And Repulsion was purely for, like, clout, basically. He wanted to make a film in the UK. And he wanted money to make this film. They're both produced by the same production company, Compton Films, now defunct or basically just softcore pornographers. And this is the one many years later that he said was his favorite of his films because, in his words, it was art for art's sake, or whatever. And I think you can basically read indulgent when you see that, but it is probably one of his most indulgent works to date. But yeah.
I'd say probably. So I did not. I mean, we're only 11 minutes in, but I didn't really write a lot of notes for this one, actually. So, if if you have a lot of other stuff to say or want to talk about, I guess now's the time, because at the end, I'm probably not going to have a lot of notes or whatever things to talk about. So, yeah.
Well,
You want to talk each individual performance?
Oh, sure, we can do that. I guess.
Okay.
Donald.
Donald Pleasence. I thought he was fucking annoying. His character was annoying in this movie. The worst. They fucking did not like it. He was just this, like, I just pictured too. He was like, I don't know why I picture he's made this modern day. I don't know, maybe it's because how he looks. Like, I picture him like a modern day like remake. I want to remake Cul-De-Sac, but like modern day setting, make Donald Pleasence a soy boy.
Yeah, it's a soy boy, as are all husbands in Polanski movies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fucking, I've seen like 3 Donald Pleasence performances to date. Halloween, his episode in one more thing. One word, not MacGyver. What was the thing? Not Hampton. With Peter Falk. Columbo. There it is. Yeah, he was in Columbo.
He was in Escape from New York. He was in a lot of John Carpenter movies.
Yeah, I know that much. Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I've seen him in something else that's completely unrelated to any of this. I don't remember.
Yeah, but fucking, I don't know. I get a good feeling from him. I think that, like all British actors, he's really good at doing like a fucking like
yeah.
Not Jewish.
No, that like wimpy British guy thing. I don't know.
Yeah, that. I think I really like. Yeah, he's annoying as shit in this, but like he's very funny. And when he starts like losing it with his guests, that one bit towards like the end-ish, I guess. And he he's just like, "You're a bitch," or like, "You're what is? How does he say it?" He said like, "Yes, you're a cunt."
Yeah.
That's not the line, but like I just remember his like nose in the air, like fucking spitting out his lines. I don't remember the lines, but I remember like the fucking feeling he was giving them. And yeah. All right, who's next? The chick.
Francois Dorlac. Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Fucking Catherine Deneuve's cousin or sister or some shit.
Mm-hmm. Who died a year after this movie?
Yeah, in a fucking gruesome ass way. A car fire accident thing.
Yeah.
And she's great in this. It's very funny, like that scene on the beach or whatever. That was like fully just like Polanski like stroking his dick. Like, I am an awesome director, because I don't even think it was really like it was in the script, like the dialogue, but Polanski wanted to shoot it with the plane going over and her like taking off her robe, running into the water, and coming out of the water at exactly the right time.
Yeah.
Which was a bitch to shoot, because they had like no fucking budget and not a lot of time, and somehow it went off like, I don't know, 2 takes or some shit.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I don't know. That's honestly like the first thing I think of when I think of performance. That and like her dressing them up.
Yeah, yeah.
What the fuck was that?
What?
I heard like
my pen.
Like oh damn! It sounded like really
wet. But I think they're, even though I said Donald Pleasence annoying this, they're all 3 characters' dynamics. They're like they work perfectly, because I think they're almost like opposites of each other, but they work well.
Yeah. They fucking bounce off each other really well. Great chemistry.
Yeah.
They hated each other on set. Everybody hated each other on set.
Which you can kind of tell in the movie for some reason.
Man, and like no one likes anybody in these movies. Fucking yeah. Shit. I think, I could be wrong, but I think she was the one who came up with the idea for the bicycle, the fucking fake bicycle or whatever the prank's called, where she put dry newspaper in between fucking Strander's whatever's toes.
Oh yeah.
On fire. She took that from like something her brother did, I think, when she was young, to her or something. And
that's actually I never like thought about that prank before, but that's actually pretty good one.
Yeah, it's solid. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. And then he just like fucking whips her. Like fucking man, Polanski. But
yeah. Oh yeah, Lionel Sanders, which yeah, I like his performance. He was probably my favorite in this movie, but I swear, because I don't know if I've seen any other movies. I might have seen other movies with him in it, because he's like a classic Hollywood actor, but I'm pretty positive like he's one of the like inspirations for like in Looney Tunes, the "Hey Toots" kind of voice. He just has that voice. Hey Toots. Yeah.
Apparently he was a fucking like boring like first class bore or whatever, and nobody liked him. I remember reading that and being like, damn, like fucking everybody would try to avoid him at like all costs.
Yeah, he was probably like an old school actor dude though.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's probably like super professional, probably polite, and not like, there's nothing to him. He's just kind of, I'm actor guy. That's all my life is dedicated to. I show up, read the lines, and that's it. He doesn't, it's not like, and well, especially too, because you have to think of like Polanski and associates, like, they're very like, like, especially the 60s, like they're very like energetic, like they we're creating a bunch of stuff or indulging a bunch of shit, and then you got this boring actor guy,
I know Donald Pleasence was like made a name for himself in like theater, doing like Pinter plays and shit, and like fucking what's the waiting for? Oh yeah, Beckett. Like he's like in that realm or whatever from theater and shit, and obviously like Miss Dorliac or whatever was just like a bombshell, like young girl basically, or young woman. So yeah, but that really adds to the like pretentious husband, fucking wild girl, and old school guy. It's pretty great casting.
Yeah, and he looks so like you can really see like he looks so gross and like sweaty.
Oh yeah. Oh yes.
He just looks. He looks like I don't know if he was in real life, but he looks like an alcoholic. Like he just beams it.
Alcoholics.
Yeah. Yeah. He has that like that Charles Bukowski like thing to him. Just where you just look at them and you're like, wow, like these guys probably smell like shit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Very moist, damp scent.
Yeah. Their skin. Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah, but I actually eventually had to turn the subtitles on in this movie because I didn't know what the fuck he was saying at the time.
Glad you out, man.
Yeah, it's all you hear.
Use the paint. A lot of people don't know this. This was supposed to be an Adam West Batman movie, but they had to fire Adam West. But
yeah.
Don't worry,
I was playing along with it.
You were playing along with it? Yeah, you did like it. Yeah. Sometimes you swing, sometimes you miss, and it is what it is. This was actually a worry of mine, doing like a movie that I love, because as soon as I like fucking start like talking about something that I like actually like interested in, anything that's sometimes funny that I do just out the window, because I get too autistic about it all, and I can't fucking like, I can only really shit on things if like I think they're kind of shitty or I'm not like into it, Yeah. I can't like oof or whatever if I whatever.
Don't worry about coming off autistic. Just look at my Instagram.
Your Instagram's not that autistic, dude.
I think look at tonight's Instagram story. It's pretty spurgy. Nonsense. Spurgy nonsense. What's that?
What? I said Spurgy the Ash Montoya story.
Yes. Spurg. It's actually called Spurg. The Ash Montoya story. And then I'll have Sandra Bullock will be in it, and she'll be like my mentor or whatever in the movie, helping me out. And then I'll be played by Timothy Chalamet.
In brown face.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. Timothy is a perfect pick for you on who to play. He has a lot of you that you come up with Timothy. That's like my favorite question for anybody.
What's that?
I said that's like my favorite question for anybody. Like, who would you want to play you?
Yeah, Timothy Chalamet for sure.
They're all hilarious. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. This movie. Just getting in my notes now, I guess, but we'll talk about other stuff later. This movie. Some of this, I guess, pretty much the overall aesthetic of it reminds me a lot of Fellini. Even some of the characters remind me of Fellini, like the character dynamics and stuff, because he always has like he always likes picking like characters that don't like they don't. It doesn't seem like they're kind of opposites to each other or whatever. Like he likes to have a lot of scenes where characters interact with each other and they all have their own kind of unique individual personality, and also he always likes throwing in like like a bombshell girl, in there. He likes throwing it in the mix and the I don't know.
You're not well versed in Fellini's whole filmography. Truth be told, I haven't seen a Fellini movie.
I've seen 8.5 and is that it? No, I watched one of his movies, but I watched one of his movies, but I fell asleep watching it. I do not even remember. It was, I think it was La Strada, I think.
Probably one of the older ones.
Yeah.
Shit, or whatever.
Yeah.
I'd like to try out Fellini or whatever sometime. I don't know.
I've watched like 8.5 like 5 times, and I've like every time like I don't really care. I finally over the years realized I just don't care for it or whatever. But I have to watch his other movies because I might really like his other movies.
Sure.
But, yeah.
Whatever. I want to try like his like later shit. Like I like to watch that they did with Donald Sutherland, Casanova. That's very interesting.
Yeah, I've always wanted. Yeah, I've been more interested in watching his later stuff.
Yeah. When he fucking just embraced. It's cool that he like did acid when he was like 45, just a big fat like dropping acid and fucking making movies about it.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Oh, and he likes clowns, and I like clowns too. So
I don't.
But you don't? Yeah, the Spanish are notorious for not liking
Is that
clowns.
true? I don't know. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
I have to ask the elders about that.
You need. That's great. Shit.
I don't know. There's the cross-dressing scene, which is funny because like that seems to be a common thing, like almost a theme in Polanski's movies. There's a cross-dressing.
Oh yeah.
Was Polanski? Has he ever talked about that or?
I think everyone's been too afraid to ask him about that.
I feel like Polanski, probably back then, definitely cross-dressed here and there.
Well, I wouldn't know anything about that. That is interesting to me. His like fucking preoccupation with dressing as a woman.
Yeah.
I don't know if he just finds it like funny because like he has like some more traditional views about those things, and it can be pretty funny in his movies, especially in the 10. Here it's more like bizarre and unpleasant to see Donald Pleasence like within a dress. But yeah, that is. I do wonder what that means on a psychological level. And why do you say he probably dressed up?
I'm more like assuming. I don't know, like the 60s. I don't know. He did like every like thing to do that was wild in the 60s. So I'm just assuming he probably has at some point in the 60s.
Wild.
Yeah.
There's a guy.
No, but back then, like, that was like a wild thing.
He was like fucking, chilling with the Stones and shit. I'm sure.
Yeah, because that's what's funny. Like the Warhol people, like, there's a lot of like people like back then, like the Warhol, like or like look at like John, like Divine or something. Like they would dress someone was like, oh my god, that's shocking, and they did it on purpose. But nowadays, it's not even shocking. There's nothing shocking about it.
Nowadays, it's gay. It's gay again to do it because it's too obvious.
Yeah.
Like fucking wearing a dress on SNL or whatever.
Yeah.
It's gay.
Yeah, it's like the Harry Styles thing. That's why nobody gives a fuck.
Disgusting, awful.
Well, the problem is too, it's still a fashion thing. Like, you have to look good. Like, you can't just throw on a dress and be like, "Yeah, am I cool?" Like, you have to like actually like put in effort. You can't just
Yeah.
Like Prince put in effort.
Honestly, Polanski fucking rocks the look way more than Harry.
Yeah.
Would ever could ever dream to.
Yeah, Harry Styles wishes he was Roman Polanski.
Put that on a fucking t-shirt, dude. I like that line.
That might be a merch shirt.
He was serving pure cunt in that fucking movie. Harry could never. I mean, I don't know. But that kind of goes into the whole, like, masculinity fucking theme in this and in a lot of Polanski shit. Of,
Yeah.
like, becoming less of a man or already being less of a man and having your face rubbed in that. Cucking. Like, that's basically all this movie is. It's just, like, this big, fat, greasy guy cucking Donald Pleasence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now there's a really weird line in this movie. And when I say that, you probably know which one I'm talking about.
Oh.
When they're on the beach. And, it's funny because I never seen this movie before. I didn't even know what it was about. I didn't know anything. I've never even seen any footage or anything, but, so I watched this, like this morning, and, last night I sent you, Nicholas Shrek video. Nick, if you don't know who he is, he's a musician guy and stuff. He's most famous for writing the, Manson File book, or books, it's actually a series, and he's on podcasts and stuff, and so he's like a Manson, not just like a Charles Manson expert, but he's like the Manson extended universe expert, even to like Roman Polanski and stuff. Like, he knows a lot about Roman Polanski and like his friends. He's like knows like his friends, like people that were friends with him back then, and like even knows like dirt about people and stuff. Anyways, it's funny because I sent you that video last night, but that one he was actually more specifically talking about Polanski and his like the parties and different things like that. And it's funny because there's a line that actually relates to what that kind of video was talking about. There's a weird line in this movie where Lionel's character, he's talking about Pleasence, Donald Pleasence, and he's just talking about like how do you hook up with the girl or whatever, and then he says that I forgot what he says. He says something like, "Oh yeah, isn't she great?" And then she says that I think I don't remember exact words, but saying that it was kind of a girl he met at like a party or something, and then Lionel says something like about like, oh, like she's one of like the little girls or whatever, and then he's like, oh, at like those like orgies or whatever. I don't remember. You know what I'm talking about?
I kind of do.
Yeah, but when that line came out, I was like, whoa. Like, it was a bit weird because I was just watching that video where he's talking about the orgies that Roman Polanski was in. I mean, a lot of people were, not just him, but, yeah, like, and the whole little girls thing, I was just like, whoa, like, it was a little, like, what? And it was almost like Polanski put in his, because this movie came out, like, at the exact same time Polanski was, like, doing all this shit, so, like, at the parties and stuff, so, it's like he self-inserted, like, almost self-inserted himself, I think, in that moment.
Yeah.
It was just interesting.
Yeah. I mean, also, it's like even broader because he doesn't view that as like he's still viewing that as like a fucking hey, it's the 60s, man. It's a crazy time. Like, we're fucking goofing off here.
Yeah. And it is, well, I think a lot of Polanski, you can tell Polanski, it's very subtle, but he definitely, like, almost like everybody I've seen from him, like, there's always, like, you can tell, like, self-insert, but he does it in a very, like, subtle way. I feel like every one of his movies almost has, like, some sort of self-insert. What's that?
Well, you're just talking about, like, in general, like, some, like, character trait that...
Yeah, just in general. It doesn't even have to do with partying or anything like that. Just, like, in general, I think almost every one of his movies has, like, at least one moment where it's, like, self-insert, like, kind of...
Well, he is sort of, like, he is, if anyone is, an auteur or whatever, so it makes sense that he's going to be in there somewhere or whatever.
Yeah, even straight up, like, acting in it,
Yeah, obviously, the tenant and the pianist and fucking whatever else,
Yeah. But that moment was just really interesting. It's very brief. You might even miss it, but yeah, it freaking... I actually had to rewind it, and like I was like, was that right? Did I hear that right? And
or made correctly.
Yeah, and it was pretty wild because I was just watching that video last night, and then
it's like,
and then the next morning I watched this movie, and there's a scene where they talk about how he, like, it implies that he met her at, like, one of those crazy, like, artiste orgy things or whatever.
You fucking have a crazy time. You fucking couple 12-year-olds. You marry one of them. Come on.
Yeah.
Roman, baby, come on. We're fucking 12-year-olds. That's like the person in the 60s.
Yeah.
So we go, Roman, baby, come on. Have fun. A little coke, a little 12-year-old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a pretty... And I think it was obvious, too, their self-insert, because he's, like, this artiste guy, and then he's dating this guy, or not guy, dating this girl that's, like, 30 years younger than him.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she is, like, a glamour kind of girl, like, 60s, which was Roman's, type or whatever back then.
You could totally see her in some, like, exploitation flick. Which this is a world away from.
Yeah, definitely. What do you think about? There's not a lot of it, but what do you think about the brief music that's in this movie?
I quite like the music. I think it really ties the whole vibe together. This wouldn't be nearly as, like, cohesive to me, or like. Well, like all the best movies, or all the movies that I really like, they're their own little world, and the music has a lot to do with that. And in this, the music by the guy, I don't remember. Yeah, it was the guy, but it wasn't. No, okay. It was the guy that he always works with, whose name I can't remember right now, and I'm very sorry because he's great. But
I don't remember.
Something with a K. Well, R.I.P. He rolled down a hill and fucking died. But anyways, the fucking like jazzy sort of like the word spindly comes to mind. Music, I think is really quite great. And I love I love that scene where the record, the music, the soundtrack skips on the record player, and she has to like replace it or whatever the fuck. I thought that was cool because I don't really see that much.
Yeah.
Actually, the vibe I got from it, maybe just because I haven't seen Fellini, was like kind of French New Wave, Nouveau
Vague. I could see that.
Like mostly like Godard, like Band of Outsiders, masculine, feminine type shit.
Yeah.
So like playing with genre or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, Polanski like didn't like that shit at all and thought it was like childish or whatever. But
yeah. Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, I thought that some of the music moments, like on the record, I thought it was like really cool music.
Yeah, I fuck with it.
Yeah. Okay. What do you think about the ending?
The ending, oh man, talk about iconic. Donnie on that rock. He just like me. Fucking, I really like it. I like that he's just completely loses his mind by the end. Because, like, that's what would happen. And she would be fucking off and away with some hunk. That's, such is the world in Polanski's view. You know?
Yeah.
It sort of was a standout to me since I first, like, saw it or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like, I understood why she left him.
Yeah.
Like, he was, like, I think, yeah, he just, was, like, overly, like, the dude, like, just needed to chill out.
He did.
Yeah. Like, he actually would have been pretty fine, I think, that, like, if he just chilled out.
Yeah, he's rich and he was, like, well educated, you know. He liked art or whatever.
Mm.
Yeah. I like the shitty artwork he does or whatever, and, like, that shit, like, news portrait of her or whatever.
Yeah.
Very funny. That's exactly, like, what that guy would be doing, is, like, that would be, like, his idea of, like,
there's always, he is like that, there's people like that in real life, and especially, like, his look, like, I taught Soyways, but he's like that, like, middle-aged, like, there's always those, like, hipster, like, artist couples, and he's definitely that, like, middle-aged bald guy that's dating the younger girl or whatever, the art hoe.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen that a lot, and he's definitely that guy. And yeah, he almost, like, reminds me of Moby.
Nah, dude, come on, Donald's way better.
Yeah, he's way cooler. Even this character is way cooler than Moby.
Yeah, he's in a castle and shit. He's fucking some hot wife or whatever. Yeah.
He isn't hitting on podcast celebrities at parties, or pretending that he dated these, like, A-list celebrities.
Real, dude. Can I just say real quick that I would like to, like, just, like, 10 minutes alone in a room with Moby strapped to a chair. Like, I could die happy. I mean,
Yeah.
like, and I would take all responsibility, take the consequences, whatever. But, like, what that room, Moby won't walk out in any way in the same, like fucking condition he would ever hope. Like, oh god, I just want to fucking, like, torture Moby. Say it real quick also, this is a real threat against Moby. This is a legitimate threat of violence, of heinous violence. My lawyer will be pissed when this gets played in court. But, yeah, I'm coming to get you, and I'm gonna make you eat a Big Mac, and then I'm gonna make you eat your own balls.
I would kill Moby in a self-defense situation.
Obviously, this would all be in self-defense. Man.
Did you see that, like, Moby? It was kind of, people talked about it, were like, it kind of became a meme, not really, but it was like that Facebook post, or I think it was a Facebook post or Instagram, whatever, and it was him taking a selfie in the restaurant, and he's all like, people are so loud. This is from like a few years ago. He's like, people are so loud in here. They're all on their phones. They're all talking about the Kardashians. I hate this world. I think that's what it said or something.
Wow. Moby rape you. I'm going to segue something. I'm saying it right now on this podcast. I'm going to hurt you very badly. Man, my favorite thing in life is threatening Moby.
Yeah.
Moby's a poor man's Morrissey.
His freaking grandfather wrote Moby Dick or whatever. That's what he's named that.
I can't. That's nuts.
Yeah. It's like, Wes Anderson's grandpa is what's his name that created Tarzan, which is pretty insane.
No, well, you were saying like I can't believe his grandpa wrote Moby Dick.
No. I was saying that I was talking about Wes Anderson. Also, his grandfather is a old writer, and he said that he's Wes Anderson's grandpa created Tarzan.
That's kind of interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of wild. I forgot his name, but yeah. So you could say that Tarzan 1998 is a Wes Anderson movie.
You can say that. It's not true, but you can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's kind of wild, like, being them, like, that's kind of wild, like, you're, well, obviously somebody you don't know, but you're, like, related, like, great-grandfather, like, created, like a fucking, that's like your great-grandfather creating Batman. Actually, that would be a little more, impressive, but, like, I don't know, it's, like, kind of weird.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, but I mean, like, everybody got somebody, I guess.
Yeah. You have anything else to say about this movie? Talk about anything?
Not about this movie, I guess. I mean, I was hoping you'd like it a little more, maybe.
Okay. I mean, I have to rewatch it.
Yeah, I know Alex, friend of the pot, Alex.
Yeah.
When he first saw it, he wasn't totally blown away by it as I was blown away. It is one of his more, like, you kind of have to rewatch things or whatever, as opposed to fucking Carnage or something.
Yeah.
Like, pretty, like, right up there. Fucking, whatever.
Yeah.
But, I think it's a real standout in his career in many ways. And, yeah.
Yeah. Also, I want to point out that my phone is back to normal.
Oh.
And so yeah, we can ramp